Hey, Figuring It Out family. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. It's time for another very exciting conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about all things friendship in adulthood. And I have a guest to talk this through with me. So let's meet our guest and have a wonderful, enriching, and eye opening time. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Aggie, and let's figure it out. Nalu, I will let you introduce yourself so my audience can get to know you and then we can dig in. What I can say about you is that you are a well of wisdom, and this conversation is really going to be, very, very enriching. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. What an introduction, a well of wisdom. So I have too many names, but I go by Nalumansi, Talaga, Rita. A teacher by profession. I used to teach literature and English, still do when I'm called upon. But now I'm mostly baking. I've worked in human rights, mostly working with women and the fraternity of the disabled family, doing grant making for them. But I'm sure the conversation that we're going to have is something that I'm also excited about because we rarely talk about it. And when we do, we skirt around it. So I'm very excited, particularly excited. Thank you for having me, Aggie.
So good to have you. Nalu is based in Kampala, Uganda. And as you have heard, she does some baking. One of those women that really likes to make sure that we don't miss out on what our fellow women are doing. So before you finish watching this episode, make sure you hit the description button and see all the details around how you can get in touch with her to order your cookies, your loaves, your cakes for your birthdays and weddings and all of that fun stuff. Yeah. Okay. So the conversation today is about adulting and friendships. Nalu, when did friendship become apparent to you? Because I think we're usually, born into families. We have sisters and uncles and aunties, and we see them as family, but we don't think about the friendship aspect. And I'm curious to know at what point in the journey of your life you recognized, oh, there's this thing called friendship, and this is actually how you can potentially do it.
So I don't come from a very big family, but I've been lucky to share life and space with two of my siblings, my younger siblings, but also my cousin sisters. And I actually spent a lot more time with my cousin sisters. And our home was a home of laughter. You come into our home and you laugh. If you don't laugh, there's there's something wrong. We laugh a lot. We really laugh a lot, and we sort of share a lot. And so I thought that's how everyone was. And as you go to school, as you meet other people, you realize, there's certain things people don't do. Like for us who are open in our conversations, I would know what's going on with my sisters. I always know what's going on with them, with their families, with their children, with their husbands, now with their husbands and their children. Even then, boyfriends, I don't know. Whatever is going on, I would always know. So I thought everyone else was open like that. And I think at about 15, 16, I realized, oh, there's certain compartments to friendship. And some people you'll be open with, other people you will be laughing with. So you start knowing a friend, an acquaintance, a colleague, someone who is hi, basically just hi, even though you're in the same space. So quite early on, although, as you grow up, it becomes different. Your needs for friendship become different. Who are the people you need around you? But I'm grateful that the five, my siblings, the five of them, have always been a constant, So they give me the definition of what friendship is, what I should expect, and, what to look out for when I'm making or meeting new friends. So way back, about 16, such a long way back to 16. But I realized that people were totally different. And you cannot expect of people what you expect of your siblings as friends. I know some people are siblings, but they're not friends. And that's sort of a different kettle of fish. But these people that I talk about, my sisters, they're my friends. And I am genuinely confident in that friendship. Yeah.
Wow, you have been so lucky. So I hear certain things like communication, because they would tell you everything that's happening in their lives, you would tell them everything, or would you also tell them everything that's happening in your life, or was it you're the big sister and therefore they run to you?
So in this relation, in this dynamic, I am the second, because then there's Tina, then there's me, then Sylvia, Gloria, Julie, and then James and another James. Man, we talk about everything, even me, and it doesn't matter whether you're talking to the young one or the older one. Somehow you find yourself, just whoever is at home and you're feeling something, you blast, say this is what's going on, whether you're happy, you're sad, you're angry. Yeah, it didn't really matter.
Wow. Have you had moments where you confided in one specific sister and they told your story to another sister, but you are not yet ready for them to tell? Or in your family construct, is it that your business is these 5 people's business and vice versa, and it's like an unspoken code?
So that's interesting. The thing is, I think even in your sibling relationship and that space, you have compartments, and you don't even they're not defined. So you find that you would tell. One of the things my sisters have, though, is they respect confidentiality. And they will ask you, do you want me to tell Tina? Do you want me to tell Seal? Do you want me to ask Julie about it? Or do you want me to ask Gloria? So each of them is gifted differently. Tina, I mean, she was born to be the firstborn. She was meant to be the firstborn. Now, Tina will listen, and she might not say anything. So you go to Tina when you want to just talk to someone. Yeah, you don't really want advice. You don't really want someone to say, oh, this is wrong, this is right, or your feelings are valid. You would go to Tina just to talk.
Yeah.
Now the person you go to for advice, and the one who Tina might tell mommy if it's concerning, she'll go to mama and say, "Her, your daughter, I'm sure she doesn't want me to tell you, but this and this is going on." But Seal will be the one who will go with your secret to your grave. Seal and Julie, those are the two who will go with your secret to your grave. Gloria will try to go with it, but she will constantly want to check with you, and I trust her, with whatever I've told them. But we have that unspoken thing. If I came to you and we were not all sitting together, then this was our conversation. So you wouldn't find that with other people if you're not ready to share. Yeah.
That is such a blessing. That is such a blessing, because confidentiality is such a core aspect of friendship. I don't know, how do we learn that? How do we learn to discern when to tell, when not to tell, who to tell, and even just having that emotional intelligence of perhaps I should ask and not take it for granted that it's okay for me to share this. I should ask if the person wants me to share or not. How do we learn that?
I don't think you actually learn. Along the way, you sort of, the cues that you get from the people around you. Do you know, I mean, we're talking about friendships, but do you know you have that particular friend you talk to every day, but there's certain things you will never, even when they're the last person on earth, you will not tell them. So I think we learn through one, discernment, but also we get bitten. Yeah. Sometimes you tell someone something and then you'll hear it from someone and you're like, I wasn't ready for that other person to hear this or even want them to hear this. So someone will say something and you will definitely be shaken, and that's when you learn, okay, so this person I will not tell. But also I think our siblings give us a blank canvas on which to test certain things, friendship, relationships. How do I tell people something? There's certain things that you think you're either very ashamed or it's funny, you're awkward, you feel like this I'll deal on my own, I will not tell anyone, and then I'll tell them when I've finished going through it. So there's really it's not black and white. There's a lot of grays in there, and the grays, I think, are what really disturb us, because it's never, it's not linear. There's a lot of curves. You will get this right, then the next time it will be wrong, so there's no proper learning. You really have to use the people around you to determine, how do I then engage with other people. There's subtle cues that people give you, even your body language. Their body language will definitely tell you, this is my friend, but they are not my
Yeah.
friend. And I guess that's why we hear inner circle, my girls, these girls
Yeah.
will not meet these girls. Like, I have a friend who has like 5 groups of girls, and they're all very close in whatever group she's in. But I don't know what's going on with the other girls unless she tells me what's going on. And she never wants us to meet. She keeps insisting, this group of girls, I meet for this. This group of girls is my prayer group. This group of girls is my let's go party and go wild group. And it's very rare for us to be, even when we were doing bridal showers and baby showers for her, we didn't do it together. We all
Wow.
did it separately. So she never wants her people to meet. So I guess it's those cues and understanding who your friend or who the person you're dealing with is. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So the cues, I feel like observation, listening, staying in tune with even your own body, what did you sense, what did you feel is such a critical thing when it comes to friendship, right?
Yes. Very important. You have very big news. You want to tell 1,000 people about it. And then the first person you meet, you're like, no, it's okay. I can keep my news, because either they will say something that will put you off. You can be very
Yeah.
happy about something, and then you tell someone, and then they'll just turn it into, either they will bring up something else and not want to discuss your news. So you have to be aware. I think it speaks to self-awareness,
Yeah.
and just knowing, I want to tell this person this, and this is how they will receive it. And then you'll have this person, you will tell something, and then they'll be like, yeah, but okay, so today I went shopping. Meanwhile, you have this. Or I was bidding for a contract, and I went through, and I'm very happy about it because it's going to do. So the person tells today I was shopping, and the balloon deflates, and you just know,
Yeah.
okay. And so the
Yeah.
next time you will know not to run. And they're always like that. Let me tell you, people don't change. The person you
Mm.
tell your news, the person you share with, the person you tell things, and they're happy for you, that will always be their mode, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
person you seek advice from, the person you tell things and you want to listen to a second opinion, will always be like that. They won't change. It's very difficult for people to suddenly snap out of a certain stance, right?
Yeah.
So along the way, we make friends, we lose friends, but
Yeah.
there will always be in your circle certain things that you recognize and have to make peace with,
Yeah.
for your own sanity, I think.
Wow. For me, the biggest struggle, because you talk about, there's that person you try to talk to, and then you're telling them your big news, and then they switch to
Mhm.
something so insignificant in the context of that time and the frame of what you're trying to
Oh
share.
yes.
Um, which makes me feel like in friendship you need to be able to see each other and to hold space for each other. And so one of my biggest struggles when it comes to friendship, vulnerability, it has been assuming that people understand me and assuming that they know what I need, because for me it seems in certain contexts to come naturally. And I say that with caution, because I have learned again over time that what I think will work for the person might not necessarily work for the person, right? So sometimes I'm like, I want to call Nalu because I need advice, well of wisdom. I'm going to run this problem by her, and she's going to tell me, option one, you can do this; option two, you can do this; option three, you can do this. This is what I'm looking for. And then I take that formula and I think I can apply it to other people, right? Like, you take it for granted. It's my friend's birthday, I have to call. My friend is having a wedding, I have to contribute. My friend's mother is not feeling well. We've been friends since childhood. Bambi, I'm not going to wait for someone to tell me that I need to go and see her in the hospital. I'm going to carry myself and go and see her, because over time, she has also become my mother, and I take it for granted. And then one day my mom falls sick, and I tell this friend of mine, and I wait. And my mom is admitted in the hospital, stays there for 3 weeks. He's released from the hospital. The friend never called, never came. And then I catch myself feeling all kinds of emotions, right? So talk to me a little bit about that expectations thing, because I have suffered from assuming that people will
I in the
understand.
same space with you.
Yeah.
So I feel you. And I think It comes from the fact that we are givers, and givers are very considerate of everyone. Yeah. We are the first to know when people have trouble. We're the first to
Mm.
know. I mean, people run to us, and we're not saying this because, oh, we are givers, we're givers. No, that's who we are. So someone will come and tell you, oh, I am going through this. I need you to do this for me. And you're very happy to jump in and do everything. Now, when it comes to you, you have two minds. Should I call this person? It could be current or just recently, maybe 2 days, 3 days ago, you did something for them. And then you are in the same situation and you struggle with who should I call to be able to help me to, sort this out, whatever it is
Yeah.
you're dealing with, right? And I have seen it. I've struggled with friends who we have a mutual friend, and they have a sick child, and this person just needs relief because you're a mother, you work, you do everything, and you just need someone to come in and stay with the baby for a few minutes so that you can rest, take a shower, and things like that. For
Yeah.
me, it comes naturally. I will be there. And
Yeah.
then maybe I am not their number one friend. Maybe I'm not even in the inner circle, but I feel like I should be there. I want to do
Yeah.
this for them. And then you look around, and the friends who are in their inner circle are nowhere to be seen. You're like, okay, so where are these people? When they need her, she is running to them, doing everything she needs to do, driving around Kampala with all the traffic, picking things up. Now she needs them, and no one is turning up.
Yeah.
So I used to get really angry. I used to get really angry, and because I'm very open, I don't know how to shut up. I'll be like, "But guys, this is not fair." In Luganda, mwetereze, you can't let someone be going through something and you're not there for them. And then I realized and told myself, some people are selfish, very,
Mm.
very selfish. And you see, being selfish doesn't stop them from being my friend. That's who they are. That's how they deal with things. They always expect other people to give them. It took me about from my 20s to my 30s, because when you're a teenager, some things you ignore. But now you're starting to build those friendships that will hold space for you, those friendships that you can rely on. So between 20 and 30, I would be like, I would struggle. I would quarrel with people. I'd be like, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this for your friend? Why aren't you being there for me? Then I realized I'm singing the same song with the same people. So it's not an easy thing to do, but I decided that, the certain friends are not worth it to keep telling the same thing over and over again. The
Yeah.
best way for the person to learn that, this is a friendship, is if something happens, and then I will not jump in immediately, because my instinct is something has happened. Everyone calls Nalu, someone has lost someone. Oh, what are we going to do? We collect Mabugo. Let's bring ourselves together. Who's going to drive us to this, burial place? You organize all these things. I decided that, some people are taking me for granted. I recognize that. I will not change who I am, but I give you space. And the funny thing is, once you give people space, even just for 2 minutes, they will be calling you, Nalu, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? And you're like, no, I am just doing what you normally do. Just letting
Mm.
you scroll for 10 minutes. Something has happened and I will not react, right? And so you realize that they're your friends who are inertly selfish, Bambi. They're really, really selfish, even with things they shouldn't be selfish with. So how I deal with them is I try, and I'm not going to change who I am, but I will just try to give you some space for you to realize that, what, people are not always going to be jumping hoops and rivers and lakes to get to you, while you won't even jump that famous thing. You will not jump a puddle to come and
Yeah.
help someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will struggle, and I think it's a struggle that doesn't end. It's not something that ends, really, because I feel like I said, some people are not going to change. No, they're not going to
Mm.
change. That's how they are. So you, you learn to manage your expectations. You
Mm.
learn to manage your expectations. You learn not to feel too badly about certain things. I
Mm.
have a thing that I tell myself, because when we feel, we really feel.
Mm.
When you feel to the core of the stomach, you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be hurt by this, but I am hurt, right?
Mm. Mm.
So I tell myself, Nalu, I cannot be angry at this person. Like I said, we compartmentalize our friendships and relationships. So I
Yeah.
have friends who will do something to me and I will not be moved. My siblings, on the other hand, if they did something and I felt it was hurtful, that can take me weeks to get over, because
Mm,
you guys are my you're my backstop, right?
yeah.
And those are the only people I genuinely get angry at, because we need to talk about things. But if you're not my sibling and you're not in my inner circle and you're not in my heart whatsoever, I will
Yeah.
let go very quickly. I have learned to let go very quickly. One thing I've taught myself: talk about things. I will tell you, Aggie, you did this, this, and this. I wasn't happy, and I will leave it at that. And for me, that's where the conversation will end. So now I don't expect that you will stop coming to me, because I know people like that. They will always come back, but now you will come on my terms. Yeah, I am not jumping hoops and hurdles to be able to help you, right? So
Yeah.
I feel that's how I manage my expectations. That's how I cope. And I hope, we all get to that space where we're not expecting people who are selfish. The key word is selfish. There are people who are innately selfish, so they
Yeah.
shouldn't take your emotion. Yeah, learn to recognize them. Learn to tell yourself, no, I am not wasting my time on this person or my emotions. There are so many other things to or other people to waste my emotion on. Especially
Yeah.
if you're not a child. You're not a child, you're adults.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
yeah.
know what shocks me, because you're finishing that segment there with you're not a child, you're an adult. As a child, I wasn't so aware of my
Mm,
emotions. I was just living life, enjoying myself. But as an adult, I discovered I can feel. I discovered feelings,
mhm,
and I discovered
mm,
someone can do something to you and you toss, you walk around, you're like, now how do we address it? How do we talk about it? It seems so obvious to me. They are pretending not to see
yeah.
it. And then
Mhm.
sometimes you like approach them and you bring it in a maybe not so direct way, because you're hoping, let's
Oh
fix this
yes.
thing quick. And you discover
Mm,
they are acting completely blindsided. So I'm wondering, because you mentioned selfishness, but you said their selfishness does not stop them from being your friend.
mm.
Does that mean that we are to carry everyone along in spite of their poor manners? When do we divorce? Because we might die in the process.
Very good. When do we divorce? So this is the thing. And I know different people deal with things differently. Also because of our backgrounds. Some people have grown up in a space where love has been flowing, and so they expect things to be black, white, red, yellow, no grays in between. While some people have had to recognize that love is a very delicate and special thing. So we know the people who love us, and we know the people that we can trust, and then there are those that are just going to exist. So you will be my friend. You will be selfish. You will be my friend. But in the big picture, you just exist at a certain
Mm,
at a certain space. Yeah. And I feel like I don't want to give you a lot of my time, because if I do that, my emotions are going to be involved at a certain point, and you are not going to recognize and see me for what I am feeling in that moment.
mm,
So over time, I have taught myself to learn that some people just exist. When they need me, I will do things for them. I am okay. Or I will say no, I am not able to do that or engage, or I will not be able to help you with what you need me to do, because I have switched on the existent, the key that you just exist in a certain space. Because,
yeah,
like you said, we shall die. We shall die in this marriage where we are carrying everything along. Because even in a
yeah,
marriage, you just need to sit down and say, okay, this is working, this is not working. And if it's not working, we shouldn't be carrying it everywhere with us. Let it
yeah,
just stay somewhere, not buried, done away with. We don't want to think about it. So when you exist, you just exist, right? You,
yeah,
I don't know how to explain it, but yes, you're my friend. I am happy you're my friend, but from far away, please. I don't
yeah.
want to engage my emotions with you because you do not see me for who I am. It's like I'll tell you a little story. I was working in the village. I just left campus. I was working in Chiboga. You know the connotations of Chiboga deep down there. That village that everyone thought was super village. It was super village, by the way. Nothing was. It wasn't a lie. It was really a village. So I was working with one lady, and on an evening there was no electricity, so we used to sit around and actually tell stories. This is in the 2000s, and we have to entertain ourselves. No television, no radio, no phones, so it's just conversation. So we're talking about expectations and friendship and
Mm.
how people react to certain things. And Aggie, I am going through something. I can come and tell you something, and you will help me. So these two ladies were friends, and one had a potato field, our local potatoes, Lumonde, and the other
Yeah.
had a child, right? So there's a season when the potatoes are getting ready to be harvested. Rats usually infest the potato field, and so they might just go scratching, eat a few potatoes. They never eat the whole mound where the potatoes are. They'll just eat a few. So I think this lady was harvesting her potatoes, and she was struggling with the rats. So on this particular evening, after having gone to the garden, brought what she thought would be 10 sacks, there were like five, she gets home. And as she sits down, her friend, her neighbor, has lost a child. I think a child in school. Someone came, bicycle, informed her, your child is gone, right? So
Mm.
she goes to her friend so that they can quite erase, do what they need to do and go where the child is. Meanwhile, this madam has come from the village, from the garden with her disappointment. So she's sitting on the veranda, very disappointed. And then this one comes with her news. You know how we wail, whoa, wait, what? She's like,
Yeah.
what's wrong? What's going on? She's like, my child is dead. It's like, your child is dead. It's like she was waking up from a dream or something. She's like, I'm going to say this in Luganda because there's no other way to say it. She said, omwana wa afudde. Omwana we yandifudde naye mmese ne sitalya lumonde wange.
Oh my God. Oh
And
my, you
that's
need to
sort of
translate that. You need to translate that. That is so
translate.
intense.
So she tells her friend, as she asks, the lady of the potatoes asks, what's going on? You're crying. It's like, my child is dead. It's like, I don't know. Your child can die, but the rats have eaten my potatoes. The rats shouldn't have eaten my potatoes.
Yeah.
And
Comparing these two things.
can you imagine? And that is adulting. In that moment, she's your friend. She's going through something, but the scale of what they're both dealing with. Of course,
Yeah.
later on, she came to herself and said, no, I am so sorry. Because this one didn't have anywhere else to go. And
Mm.
she left the potatoes there. Then they looked for transport and, went to pick
Yeah.
the child, the body. But so that had come up in when we're discussing expectations, when we're discussing who do we share our news with, what do we expect the other person to say.
Yeah.
We know of girls who come with, oh my, I've gotten engaged, maybe people were not there, it was a private thing, and then you come to share how you have gotten engaged, and someone will come up with, my boyfriend is taking me to Dubai. You're like,
Mm.
Dubai, and someone getting engaged, which one should we be happy about in that
Mm.
moment, right?
Mm.
Or someone has gotten a job, we've been praying about a job, someone gets the job, and then someone comes and says, yeah, today I got a salary increase.
Mm.
But for the last 9 months, we've been praying about a job for this person. They finally
Yeah.
get it. And in just 2 days, you
The
got
emotional intelligence to hold space for another person's good news,
another.
right? Like you can wait. You can share yours next week, or
Thank you. Can you just let this person? I read something that, I think it was on Twitter, someone shared like a meme or something that said we need to normalize not wanting to share. Like if I shared with you something and I said, I got malaria last week and I was struggling.
Mm.
Don't tell me about the headache you've been having. Let's deal with the malaria. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Did you see a doctor? Did they diagnose properly? Are you
Yeah.
taking, any fluids? The things we ask about malaria. Let's
Yeah.
not divert from the malaria that has come up first. And also, I
Yeah.
think it speaks to um, the sort of relationship you have. Do we listen to each other? Because, man, listening
Yeah.
is a very hard thing. Listening is a very
Mm.
hard thing. It's like we are very uncomfortable with silences, even when we're having conversations as friends. That's
Yeah.
why sometimes news can be lost. You can meet up as girls, you're having, you're talking, and then someone says something that probably needs a little more delving, probing what's going on. people who are dealing with domestic violence don't usually share what's
Yeah.
going on, and then someone can just randomly throw it there because they're with their girls and say, but you guys, this and this is going on. Do we take a moment to listen, to ask the proper questions without saying, oh, I know another lady, she was also going through this. I know another someone, and then someone else will bring up someone. Have we dealt with this person sitting right in front of us? Have we
Yeah.
dealt with, what they're going through? Emotional intelligence, self-awareness, just being
Yeah.
comfortable to discuss whatever someone throws at you,
Yeah.
without having to look for, okay, so let's bring in another story so that we make this a bit comfortable and we're
Yeah.
not directly dealing with your problem or, your news or whatever. So
Yeah.
I find that if we can hold space by being present with our
Yeah.
friends, it could
Yeah.
just be one call, it could just be a text, it could be, but just be present. Let the
Yeah.
person tell you what they are going through or what they are feeling, or we're so uncomfortable with feelings. Do you know that we're very uncomfortable? Someone will tell you I'm sad and you're like, how do I make them happy
How do I make
immediately?
them
That's what
happy? Yeah.
make this go away. I don't want to deal with their sadness, but
Yeah.
we need to be comfortable with who they are in a particular moment. Someone will not be happy all the time, they'll not be sad all the time, but it's like our children. I mean, my nieces, 1 minute we're genuinely laughing our heads off, and the next minute someone is boxing someone else, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, we were laughing a few minutes ago, next
Yeah.
2 minutes they're like, this one is beating me, like, okay, so you see, you keep changing to deal with what they throw at you, and
Yeah.
that's what it is with adulthood.
Yeah.
Sit with what the person is feeling, sit with what the person is telling you, and then
Yeah.
you'll be a better friend. I think you'll be a better friend.
Yeah. A few years ago, I was so blessed by one of my nephews, because I observed in this child his ability to dialogue. So you're speaking about holding space for somebody, but a lot of us, we tip one way too much or one way too much. Yeah. So for example, you come today and you got your big job.
Mm-hmm.
And I've held space for you. I've held that space for, now me, I'm a big celebrator. So I can hold space around your good news for literally a month. Like if you're born on the 1st of April, we shall celebrate your birthday for the whole of April. Like there's a way in which I can hold that celebration energy. The problem though is that some people get so used to people holding space for them that they can't bounce the ball back.
Back, yeah. I know, I feel it.
How do we navigate this thing where, okay, if we're having a conversation and Nalu has said, I got this big job, for this moment, let's all have the emotional intelligence to just let it be about Nalu, yeah, for today. But at what point does Nalu say, enough about me? What about you?
What about you?
You know what I mean? So that we keep the wheel spinning.
Yes. Can we have everybody celebrate, it also speaks to entitlement, because some people feel entitled to your holding that space. Like, this is Agi's job, she will hold the space, she will celebrate. You're the one who plans the parties. You're far away from home, but you're planning parties for people at home. You're
I
calling people
retired, by the way, from that job.
because obviously they're taking you for granted. It's you who will call and say, Mommy's birthday is coming up, Auntie's birthday is coming up. What do we do for them? How do we get to celebrate them, right? And so people get entitled. The question of when do we stop celebrating you, it still comes back to emotional intelligence. I need to know that it's not just about me. Even in that moment, when I tell you my news, we can talk about it for 30 minutes. I mean, we're going to spend maybe 3-4 hours together. We are out, we're having a cup of tea. After I tell you my news, I need to know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
I didn't come here just to talk about, what I'm going through. Oh, I got this big job. It's going to do this. Yes, thank you very much. It's going to do all that. But what about Agi? What is Agi? What's happening in her life? Anything we need to celebrate? Anything we need to pray for? Anything we need to, just check in? Because it's never just about you. And then it becomes boring if it's just going to rotate around you. You're not 5 years old. You
Yeah.
know, a 5-year-old, you buy them a dress, they will twirl and show you it sparkles. They discover something new, they'll come back. It will be about them for the next week and their new
Yeah.
dress. But as adults, we need to know it's not about my twirling dress all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are moments when people will need space. We could be mourning, we could be praying about something, and I need to be cognizant of the fact that, okay, this is not a just 1 minute, 2 minute conversation. I need to be there for this time. But when people, you see, when people lose someone, the first day, everyone will be there for you. They'll run. Second day, if the burial hasn't happened, people will still be there. When the burial is done, my friend, people are done. They're
Yeah.
gone. Yeah. And only a few people are going to be coming to check in on you. And that's how our news is. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, it's here. Bang, I have this big news. Once we are done discussing it, please don't expect us to keep bringing it back. You
Yeah.
know, also, yes, we will check in. We'll find out from you what's going on. But please don't take up everyone's time just because you feel every moment we have to discuss this. Oh, no, 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 no. You have
Yeah.
to be present to your friends' emotions to know that, you know, and that's when people will go sidebarring. They'll WhatsApp each other and say, but Madam Arosa, tunabera ku kino kyokka."
Translate.
Madam, does Madam think we shall only be on this? Eh? Is this the only conversation we're going to have? No,
Yeah.
people have to find other things to talk about. And you need to be okay with it. You need
Yeah.
to be okay with the fact that people need to go and move on with their lives. You know, it's
Yeah.
friendship is funny. Friendship is funny. Just like life. Life is funny. Life is not static. So I used to think, and I see this a lot when I lose someone I love. It could be a friend, and me, I'm stuck in that moment of grief. I'm like, oh, this is not going to go on. Life has changed. Yeah. And then everyone, even in that moment, like on the day of the funeral and things are happening around you, man, people are eating food, someone is sleeping there, you're here, you're dealing with this, you're like, why are you sleeping? I mean, we should all be crying.
Hmm.
We should all be stuck in this thing. No, and that's not how it works. So once you realize life does not revolve, the sun does not revolve around you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to come to that realization. It doesn't revolve around us. And once you recognize that, then you're able to manage yourself and manage other people's, you know, expectations and expectations of you, but also your expectations of them, so that you're not roller coastering all the time, up and down. Like you said,
Yeah.
you retired from planning things, and that's very okay. People should be okay with that. A
Yeah.
respectful thing to do is to actually say, maybe to come to you and say, okay, so Aggie used to do this manang and we used to take her for granted. How did she do it? So to bring you back in would be a phone call to say, we are planning this, this, and this. How did you used to do this? And I'm sure you'd be very, but you know, there are people who will call you and
Nalu.
they're like, ah, so you used to plan. Okay, now you're going to plan. You're like, no, I'm
Hmm.
done with that. I'm not dealing with that anymore. You guys deal with it, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know, we have to teach people how to treat us. That's the other
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a very hard lesson. A very hard lesson. I was telling one of my older nieces. She's a planner. She's the giver. She's loving. I see myself in her and how she struggles with how people, you know, treat her. And I want to hug her and be like, you know, baby, you're going to struggle with these people. He says, now people, we're planning a party and people say they're going to bring money, but no one is bringing money. So I have to foot the bill. I'm like, child, no. You're celebrating someone's birthday. You want to treat them. Call the birthday girl. Take her out for tea. Don't plan any parties. You're planning
Yeah.
a bridal shower. People are not responding because they know you want to do it. Call the bride and tell her, please, I am calling you for a cup of tea. Sit with your friend, and that's it. Don't plan
Yeah.
these mega parties for people who don't care. They
Yeah.
expect you to buy the gifts, they expect you to pay for the food. Hey, madam,
Yeah.
you will die, right?
Yeah.
So teach them how to treat you. And it's in the way we behave when things happen to us. You're like, okay, so this is how madam is taking this. I am not, you know, or this
Yeah.
is how people expect me to behave, but no, I am done being made to feel like I am superwoman. There are no medals for being superwoman, by the way.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
no medals.
Now let's pivot a little bit to family, because I've seen a lot of people have this bravery when they go through these moments where people ignore them, don't reciprocate, expectations are not clear, reciprocation is broken, and so on. They find it easy to retire or divorce or enter unspoken agreement when it
Uh-huh.
comes to friends. But
Uh,
when it comes to family, people take abuse until they can take it no more.
Mm.
Where do we draw the line? There's a statement that Jim Rohn made. He was like, if you have a cup of coffee and someone puts poison in it, that cup of coffee, if you drink it, it will kill you irrespective of who put the poison in it.
Mm.
So resentment is resentment, bitterness is bitterness, anger is anger, unforgiveness
Mm.
is unforgiveness. These are all types of poison for the
Mm.
soul,
Mm.
and they will work on you and kill you irrespective of who put them in your heart. They don't say,
Mm.
because it's your mother, we let you off the hook. No? But when it's
Yeah.
your friend, you know what
It's
I
easy
mean?
to.
Yeah. So how do we strike that balance? Or give those who are in fear some permission to
Oh,
draw
for some
something.
permission. By the way, I think the most liberating thing is seeing your family for who they are. It's very liberating, but also understanding that they're human beings before they are family. They're human beings. And so if we put the attributes of a human being to our family members, then we are going to be able to deal with them as humans before we deal with them as family. Many of us have been taught family is family, don't break the family, the bonds, what? But if you guys are not working to strengthen these bonds, man, the bonds are going to break. You
Mm,
cannot treat people badly. You cannot abuse people. You cannot resent, be jealous of people. Do all these bad things that you don't even do to your friends, to your family members, and expect me to sit there and say, they're family, so they can get away with it. No, thank you.
yeah.
Where we draw the line is we don't aim to be friends with all our family. Just like we're not friends with everyone in the world. Not everyone
Yeah.
we meet is our friend, right? It's just that we are family. You're my blood. I'm not going to change that. However, if you do not live to the expectations of what I call a friend, then our business will be blood. Yeah. We meet at
Mm,
funerals, we'll meet at family weddings. You will not be in my life constantly, right?
yeah.
I think we should give ourselves permission to let these people, in a certain space, let them go. Not far away, but let them just be there because this thing people fear
Far
that
away.
if I don't if I don't have family, the worst fear people have is who will bury me. I keep telling people if I die and I am smelling for people, the neighbors who will get tired of that stage, they'll put me in the ground somewhere, regardless
Yeah.
of where I come from. Right?
Yeah.
So
I
we
mean,
shouldn't hold.
Corona showed that, right? So
Thank you
clearly.
very much. These guys would come in, pick a body, go, and none of us would be there. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't hold people at ransom just because they were born with you, and therefore you should treat them badly because you're family. No,
Mm,
no, 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 no. I hold my family to the same standard I hold my friends. And if you do not reach that standard, I am sorry. My dealings with you will be with the people, the ones who exist. You exist in a certain space. I will find you in that space on my terms. And we need to teach our children this because not everyone is a good person. And in our families, there are those people who are really not good people. So we shouldn't, make our children believe that everyone is a good person. Therefore,
yeah.
because we are family, if I am good, someone else is not good, and they should know it. They should grow up
Yeah.
knowing Auntie so and so is like this and like that. Deal with her at your own risk,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So family shouldn't hold us at ransom because we are blood. Blood is thicker than water, but man, it can be diluted. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are blood banks these days. We might not even be the same blood type, even though we are family. You might not be the
Mm,
one going to give me blood or a kidney or anything. We need to give ourselves permission to see people for who they are.
yeah.
Importantly, see them for who they are. If they are
Yeah.
bad, they are bad. Don't push it. Don't
Yeah.
expect someone to tell you, oh, you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. When they're
Yeah.
dealing with resentment and trauma, they don't know how to say that. They don't
Yeah.
even see you. Our family sometimes doesn't, they don't see us. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't recognize, they don't even appreciate you. Do you know they expect you to do certain things and they will not say thank you?
Yeah.
If my friend doesn't tell me thank you, do I do things for
Finally,
them?
we thank our families for. Let's use this moment for Akalango, for all those we forgot to thank.
I
We
know.
thank you in this moment.
Thank them. But someone does something and people are like, that's how she is.
Mm,
That's how she is. But that's how she is. Can we thank them? Can we appreciate them? We kill people's spirits because we are family. We treat
Yeah.
them so poorly because, well, what will they do? Who else do they
Yeah.
have?
Yeah.
Man, you like, people travel and leave Uganda and go to live in spaces where they don't have family, and they
Yeah.
create family around them. You're not
Yeah.
the most important person in their family, right? In their life right now, right?
Yeah.
So if someone would go 40,000 miles away from home and still survive, imagine you as family, you are not the business, or
Yeah.
yeah. We have to work for that. We have to work for that relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we work so hard to love our friends, but we are not working hard to love our family? Yeah. We
Yeah.
neglect family. People just take each other for granted. But also, if people are not willing to work on those things, can we not push it? If
Yeah.
someone doesn't like you and they are your cousin, it is okay. They have
Yeah.
people they like, you have people you like. Please move
Yeah.
on with your life. Don't stay stuck somewhere because I don't talk to my cousins. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
They're your cousins and they have people to talk to. If you don't talk to them, it's not like they will die because they didn't
Yeah.
talk. COVID should have taught us that
Yeah.
if we don't make an effort with people, people can live without us.
Yeah.
3 months we're in our homes, 3 months
Yeah.
not getting out.
Yeah.
Imagine March, April, May of 2020. Was it
20. Yeah.
2000? Oh my lord.
Yeah.
You and your walls, these walls, they know me better than anyone else. They know
The
my
book
thoughts.
lovers, we were the happiest at that
Oh,
point.
I tell you, silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to call people. I mean, I can text. But
Yeah.
so if someone can survive without you even for a day, and we're not always talking to our sisters or our siblings, yeah,
Yeah.
that means they're living their lives. So why have you stopped living because you want things to be a certain way? No,
Yeah.
don't force. I would encourage people to learn is don't force relationships, whether it's with family or with the strangers that who become family or friends. Don't force
Yeah.
relationships and
Yeah.
compartmentalize. Learn to know who does what in your circle.
Yeah.
They're good cooks. They're people who know how to hold a conversation. They're people who will make you laugh. Learn everyone for who they are, and you will have peace. Surely,
Yeah.
you will
Yeah.
have peace. And I mean, that's the goal. Yeah, I think peace is the goal. It's everything else. Yes, is important. But if you don't have peace, you will enjoy nothing because you're
Yeah.
always on the move. You're disturbed. No, we don't force your family. Thank you very much, but we need to create boundaries. Learn
Yeah.
boundaries. Boundaries are very important because family sometimes does not respect people's boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, I know that sometimes we need to know what's going on with people, but if they're not letting us in and they're not giving freely of what we expect of them, then maybe they've created boundaries and we need to respect them. And
Yeah.
if they need us, they will seek us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, with savior mentality, I should be there for everyone, including family that abuses and takes me for granted. It has to have a limit. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
depression is real, mental health is real. People need to be cognizant of the fact that you can't give the best of yourself if you're not okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I once I once let go of godmother duties. My God, that was one of the hardest things I have ever done in my entire life because I felt in that, and I'm sharing this to just expose the fact that nobody is going to die. You know, if a hard decision has to be made, it has to be made. But
Mm,
I was a godmother to some beautiful children. The children were amazing, but
mm,
the relationship was so one-sided, you know. And I felt like when you give someone, for example, an aunt or an uncle or a cousin, the duty to become a godmother, it's not like you take care of the kids, but we will never call you. Take them out for ice cream, but we will never check on you. You know, if
mm,
they're sick, come and visit them. If you know, if they're having their christening, do all these things, and you're like, you're giving, you're giving, you're giving, you're checking, but you're like, this thing is supposed to be a relationship. And then I'm
mhm.
like, I woke up one morning and I took inventory and I said, okay, this is where we're at. Let me observe this thing for a while. I observed for another 3 months. I observed for another 3 months. So now observation at 6 months, I was like, this is abuse.
Mm, mm.
And then I wrote my resignation letter. exactly. People use the thing, you're a Christian, you're loving, you're
Mhm.
available, you don't
Mhm.
yet have children of your own. So let's use you and squeeze you and hang you up to dry.
Mhm.
And I just decided, sejak kusobola, and
Mm.
yeah, I've been healthier mentally since I took that decision. So for
Mm.
anyone out there who is feeling dried and squeezed, if you've tried to talk, and it is possible. It's
It's
possible.
possible.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's possible.
I want to touch
Because
a little bit on Mpalanirako.
oh,
You know, where Agi and Nalu have a conflict, and then all of a sudden Agi is soliciting hate from the rest of Nalu's world so that they
Nalu's
can.
world and friends and all our friends should choose. This
Yeah,
this goes back to self-awareness and emotional intelligence. I am the worst person to ever expect that I will help you to hate another person. Join your haters club. I
yeah,
am the worst person. I feel drained around people who expect me to hate someone because they don't like them or they did something to you. So I usually ask people, what happened? Why are
yeah,
you not talking to that person? They'll be like, oh, they did this, this, and this. And then I'm like, okay, so how am I connected to all this?
yeah,
You and that person had a private tiff, and
yeah,
now you're making it public and expecting the public to choose. I'm like, I'm sorry. Maybe the person is my friend too, or maybe they are not my friend.
yeah.
The thing is, I always tell my friends I will keep talking to them until they do something to me, and then
To
I will
you.
deal with it in that moment. But
Yeah,
something happened. I was not there. I didn't see. I don't know. No, I don't have that energy. It's
yeah,
just too much. It's too much, and also it doesn't go anywhere
yeah,
because then we will have a camp here, and so whatever the other person does, whether it's good or bad, we're always like, no, that's not nice. Look at that person. What? That's so S2. We did that in S2. Form 2, we had all the time in the world to create cliques. I don't
yeah,
belong to any clique. I don't know. My character cannot manage being confined. I think I don't know. I am an extrovert. Clearly, I'm an extrovert, but I'm
mhm,
also very introverted with certain things. So when people start cliques, I withdraw because
yeah,
I don't know what you expect of me in that clique. I don't know if I will meet those expectations, and I
yeah.
am sure I will say something wrong to the person who started the clique, and I will be kicked out. So, like, if you're doing something wrong, definitely I'm going to tell you no. And also, it means we have to be just and fair
Yeah,
and very
yeah,
objective with our friends because
yeah,
Mpalanirako means I am not analyzing things as they have
yeah,
been told to me. I am just going with emotion of oh,
yeah,
so they hurt us. Okay, so we are all hurt. Now we all don't like that person. No,
yeah,
it calls for a lot of objectivity and not being biased by someone telling us something, and we
yeah,
just accept it for what it is.
yeah,
You have to be fair to the other person, especially if they're not the ones telling you the story. Who's telling the
yeah,
story? Because we tell the story depending on how we are feeling about something. Something
yeah,
happened, and probably you are the cause of that thing that happened, but you do not want to accept and acknowledge your
yeah,
own, responsibility, but you
yeah,
want me to take it piecemeal, as you have told me.
yeah,
So I think it calls for being fair. I mean, we are Christians. What happened to listening to the other side of the story and then getting two people to either work it out? And if they're not able to work it out, I'm sorry, I'm not part of it. If you still want to be my friend, both of you, I am happy to be. But if you
yeah,
choose that if I'm not taking sides, both of you are walking away, goodbye. God will bring other people in my life
yeah.
until you're ready to be. We keep saying to be adult, to be
Talk
adult
talk
and
to me. Talk to me a little bit about in the context of in-laws and when children are involved.
are involved.
Yeah, so
Tricky.
Madame doesn't like, huh? But
And
now we
therefore we
have
shouldn't.
nephews and nieces, and the drama is beginning to affect more people. How do we
How
navigate?
do you manage? So when it comes to in-laws, I think I am those people who it is you, Agi. You're an in-law to someone.
Yeah,
I I don't like to say that you will all be my friends, but if someone brings you into our family, you're their wife, you're their husband, then I am going to deal with you as that person's person,
yeah,
right? Now, when people start this drama of also and so are not talking to each other because the other's child did this, and when it comes to children, and I am very clear about that, I may not have children of my own, but I do not want anyone who uses children to manipulate a situation.
Yeah.
Right? So everyone knows, don't talk to me, do whatever you want. But once you tell your child that Auntie Rita is like this and like this, and that child is my friend, and they come and tell me, then we are going to have a conversation. I always tell the adults, do whatever you're doing, do your things, but don't involve the children. It's not
Yeah.
fair on that child, right?
Yeah.
It's really not fair, because suddenly you decide the other side of the family has a problem, and therefore I will not engage with them, I will not talk to them. Why are you telling your 5-year old or your 6-year old or even your 15-year old about this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
if a child is
traumatizing,
involved,
right? Like you could navigate the whole situation in a little bit more of a silent and tactical way, because sometimes I understand when people really feel they need to protect their children.
children, yes.
But to tell that type of stuff to a 5-year-old is quite heavy, right? That like their brain is not ready
To deal with all
yeah.
that. And usually what I do with in-laws, I mean, even it's like family. In-laws are like family. In-laws are like family, although they come with that thing of, okay, we are not of here, so we can probably do a lot more, or depending on which side you've gone and how people treat you. I From day one, I think I just want to see you, and maybe if we have a relationship, we are friends. Like I have an older half brother. Me and his wife, we are not like super close. I will not say we are super close, but we are respectful of each other.
Yeah.
If she lets me in on something and she wants me to do something, I am happy to. If she doesn't tell me, I don't get angry. You know, people who want to be informed about sisters-in-law, because this is my brother, and therefore I must know everything that's going on.
For this
No,
reason, a man shall live,
thank you. His
you know,
mother and father, and be
and
united with
cling.
his wife. Cleave,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So if the wife wants me to know, I am happy to. I don't look for information. I let people be. If
Yeah.
an in-law is my friend, they are my friend. We talk about general things. I don't want to know what's going on in your house. For the girls, I usually tell them, unless my brother is beating you, and that I must know, or abusing you emotionally, please don't feel like you can't tell me something like that, because I don't know why I would be related to anyone who abuses emotionally or physically, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you feel you don't want to tell me something, please. It's like I don't want to force my way into your life just because you're my in-law. And I think that's
Yeah.
where we get it wrong as in-laws. We want
Yeah.
to be in everyone's business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone is planning something. We want to tell them where to get things. This is what you should do. This person has her own way or his own way of doing things. Can we be respectful? I think with
Yeah.
in-laws, it's mostly to be respectful of people's space without
Yeah.
trying to think that we know best.
Yeah.
Why did they take the child to that school? I think they should take them to this school. Why did they go to that hospital? They should. Why did they buy? Why
Oh,
did you buy
Jesus,
land?
forgive
Why
us
did you
our
buy the
sins.
land there? Why?
Yeah.
No, let people be. You know,
Yeah.
everyone has their dreams. Respect people's space, especially because it's a very delicate space. Marriage is a very delicate space. People are navigating things inside there that we don't know,
Yeah.
without us being overbearing with, oh, this is my brother, this is my sister. Me, I am
Yeah.
very close like this with my little sister, like this. But she got married, and going to her house, me going to her house, I am her big sister, I am her mother. They can beg me, they can be like, please come, what? I'm like, no. When I
Why?
decide to, I don't want the husband to think because we are close, I can
Yeah.
always be at their place. Because
Yeah.
it's possible, it's very possible that I will be with my sister 24/7 and will not get tired of each other. But there's
Yeah.
someone else now,
Yeah.
and probably he needs his space with his wife.
Yeah.
So I don't want my sister to
So
divide her
you
time.
you control the doses.
Yes. I don't
Yeah.
want her to divide her time between me and her husband and her children.
Yeah.
Because us, when we sit to talk, Aggie, we can ignore you, and then you'll be like, am I married to this woman?
Yeah.
You will be sitting there in the living room with us, but we are talking, and you're not
Yeah.
involved in that conversation. So
Yeah.
you need to know, you need to have the presence of mind to know that, yes, my sister is now married. She has someone who needs her attention and things like that. Because I mean, we call each other and we talk on the phone for 3 hours. I don't know. I can't tell you we are talking intelligent things or deeply moving things, changing the world. No, that's our conversation. But
Yeah.
imagine if I decided to go to their home every single day or every
Every
weekend, and
week. Yeah.
yeah, it becomes a bit
Mm.
tricky.
Yeah.
So with in-laws and that sort of friendship, you have to be very respectful of people's spaces. And
Yeah.
as bigger sisters, we have to be very not to be overbearing and
Yeah.
choose not to be in everything. Where are you taking the kids to school? Why have you chosen that school? Why have you which shoes did you buy them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has the child gone to the salon? Who's the maid that you have? I don't have to be involved in all their decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Treat them like you treat your other friends. We are not in our friends' business
Yeah.
all the time. In-laws, we can be funny, Bambi, especially on the
Yeah.
father's side. We can want to be in people's business until they throw socks at us. I don't
Yeah.
want to be that
I
person.
have Yeah, I have a friend who struggled because she got married and her sister was beginning to give assignments to the husband. You know, so you call your little sister's husband and say, "Yeah, you go and scout that land for me. Yeah, bring this thing for me. Yeah, do this for me." Da, da, da. And then, of course, you're putting that gentleman in a very difficult position because he's
Position.
like, this is the big sister or this is even the mother, like it's a very difficult construct. But like you say, people really have to, yeah, be mindful. I
Very
have one
mindful.
last thing that I would love to touch. And by the way, this conversation like can go on through the whole series because I think we've just scratched the surface. But because you're an entrepreneur, just
Hmm.
plugging it in again, guys, for your cakes and your cookies and your loaves. Nalu is the person to go to. Check the description for the contact. How do we handle friendships and money?
Friendships and money. I will start with like a little anecdote of when you start something. We started during COVID. Office was closing, and I needed something to keep me busy, something that I could do given the lockdown and everything. So first thing you think, oh, my friends are going to buy my cakes. They're going to they're going to support me. These are my friends. These are my people. You have all these expectations. You start, and in your inner circle, about two or three people give you a call to say, I have a birthday coming. You know all their birthdays. Meanwhile, you know the children's birthdays. You know the husband's birthdays. You know their celebrations, and none of them calls you.
Hmm.
So at first it's shocking, and then you get frustrated. You're like, oh my God, these are my friends. They're not even supporting me. They're not,
Hmm.
they're not there for me. They're not doing this. So I have a friend, she's been baking for a while, Chantal. And so I called Chantal and I'm like, Chick, am I going to manage if my friends are not buying from me? What do I
Hmm.
do?
Hmm.
She's like, Nalu, this is not about your friends. This is about your product.
Hmm.
She's like, if you have a good product, people will come to you. But if you do things thinking it's going to be your friends and your immediate circle, then you're just expecting them to jump in. Prove
Hmm.
yourself.
Yeah.
Prove yourself. Prove that you can actually do something. And even those, because they have doubts, they can be like, oh, I want to recommend Nalu to do something for someone. But what if?
Yeah.
So do away with the what if so that people can trust you.
Yeah.
So friends and money is a very big issue of trust.
Yeah.
We cannot expect our friends to trust us with their money or with us trusting them with our money if we don't know exactly what to expect. I
Yeah.
get money from someone, I borrow money from someone, and I don't pay back. Then the
Yeah.
next time I am the same person coming. I think it's the issue of trust
Yeah.
and proving ourselves beyond reasonable doubt that
Yeah.
people can trust us with. It's like I borrow money from you, Agi. I tell you I will pay back at the end of the month. I shouldn't take it for granted that you're my friend. I have failed, genuinely, I have failed to find the money to pay you back. I shouldn't keep
Yeah.
quiet. I shouldn't
Yeah.
ghost you. I should
Yeah.
call you. The same energy I used to get the money,
Yeah.
same energy is the same energy I should use in case something happens and I can't pay back. I should
Yeah.
be able to call you and say, Agi, I am so sorry. I borrowed $100 from you. I am unable to pay back fully. Maybe I have 20 right now. Is it okay if I can give you the 20 as I sort myself out? And
Yeah.
if I promise to sort myself out, in case anything happens, I should come, because you're my friend. You're
Yeah.
not a bank. You're not a
Yeah.
bank,
Yeah.
right? And mostly with friends, we borrow or get money or use money on gentleman's agreement, I
Yeah.
should not disrespect the gentleman's agreement,
Yeah.
right? Like if you ask me to do a cake for you and you tell me it should come at 10, by 2 o'clock, the cake is not there. I am not calling to explain, you know, it becomes
Yeah.
funny because I
Yeah.
am your friend. I should be able
Yeah.
to say, I am so sorry, it is raining right now, or I'm waiting for my border guy. And I should call you before 10.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
shouldn't wait for 10:30 for me to call you.
Yeah.
Respect and trust.
Yeah.
Friendship and money has a lot to do with respect and trust.
Yeah.
Because once we feel those two things, then people will just be ghosting you. They will not call you because it's like, how do you get people to come back to you? You have to be reliable
Yeah.
in what you do and what you promise your friends. Don't
Yeah.
break those. That little promise, that little gentleman's agreement holds a lot more water than what you signed with the bank, because
Yeah.
the bank will come and sell your house and and that will be it. But your friendship is, you should hold it in more esteem than you hold the other person outside of your circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I totally feel you. But also, I feel like people need to give a first chance where
Mm.
possible. Now, in your business, for example, a lot of people in Uganda are celebrating with cakes all the
Mm.
time, right?
All the time. Mm.
So we also need to think in the context of, if my family members, if my friends are okay, I am okay as well, because that's
Mm.
the net that should hold me should anything go wrong, right? So
Mm.
in some businesses, it's like, okay, this is really not my thing. There's no opportunity for me to engage. But in
Mm.
other businesses, it's like, at least call for that first cake. And if they disappoint you, then you have grounds to say it
Say
didn't
no, I
work.
can't come back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually
Um,
been very grateful to my sisters. I do all their cakes. You know how people are like, oh, family doesn't support. My sisters. Mm-mm.
yeah. Yeah.
All and that gave me the confidence because they're very cakey people. They love cake. And
Yeah.
so if I am able to convince them to get cake from me, then I feel I'm confident to convince other people to get cake from me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I
Also,
saw it.
because you can always get an honest opinion back from them, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They will tell you, madam, that chocolate was not chocolating.
Yeah.
You need to do something about it. They
Yeah.
really helped me to improve.
Yeah.
Fruitcake, that it didn't taste like fruitcake. I don't know what you did. So whatever I have right now that I am confident of is because I got that feedback from people who loved me and were doing it
Yeah.
out of, the goodness of their heart, not to hurt me.
Yeah.
There are those customers who don't want to come back to you and they'll tell you, we ate the
Mm.
cake, but the fruit cake was not nice. Meanwhile, the same fruit
Mm.
cake you gave them, you made maybe a batch of like 3 or 4 cakes, and 4 other people ate the same cake, and you have different feedback. You also have
Yeah.
to learn to discern that some people
Yeah.
just don't want to get cake from you, and it's
Yeah.
okay. So they will tell
Yeah.
you your product is bad. Of course, you will feel bad. You will analyze, what did I do? Did I put little sugar? But once Chantal and there's another lady called Daphne, they've been baking longer than me. They keep telling me, Nalu, if you give cake to more than 2 people and you have two different sorts of feedback, and you've analyzed your ingredients, you've analyzed what you did, um, don't beat yourself up. There's some people
Yeah.
who don't want to eat your cake, and it is okay.
Yeah.
So also being confident in what you're doing and just being able to say, maybe that's not my customer, or it's okay. It's really okay. And that's the journey. Because I have friends who have never eaten my cake. On the
Yeah.
other hand, they want me to give them free cake, but they don't want to buy cake.
Yeah. Those friends who want free things. No,
I'm like, no.
not in this age. Not at this
Yeah,
age.
especially
Yeah.
with money and the economy and how it is.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a baby's home and you're an orphan and you need a cake, we are happy
Yeah.
to do that. But no.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Nalu, thank you so much for the time that you have given me. It's been such an enriching conversation. Is there anything that you feel is so critical to this topic that you haven't let out and you want to share one last thought before
One
we
last,
close?
the very last thought, and I think I really appreciate you, Aggie, and the fact that we're having this conversation.
Thank you.
Trust your heart. Trust your heart. With some people, you're going to go with your heart. With some people, you're going to go with your head. There are
Yeah,
relationships you carry in your head. Therefore, analyzing, being analytical of every little thing in that relationship. Then there's some relationships that are just of the heart,
yeah,
and you will know the difference. So it's always very good to trust both your head and your heart,
yeah,
and just know that some things are not for you and some
yeah,
things are meant for you. Be very okay if someone is willing to walk out of your life. Don't force it. Let them
Yeah.
go. Yeah, because the more we feel like people should stay in our lives, we create issues for ourselves, and it affects us and
Yeah.
affects our other relationships, especially if other people are seeing different things. So please, when people come, just like water that keeps flowing, you know that they will come and go, but
Yeah.
don't lose yourself just trying to stay in people's lives or having
Yeah.
them stay in your life. It's very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't lose
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That is such a beautiful note to close on. I feel the urge to also say, please be like, give yourself grace.
Yes.
Give yourself grace. Some things will work, some things will not work. But that is no definition of who you are. And
Oh, yeah.
also challenge yourself to be a work in progress.
Mhm.
Whatever mistakes you made at 16, please don't be making the same mistakes at 30.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself to keep getting better. And the better you get, whether it's at boundaries or reciprocation or whatever area God is speaking to you to improve, the better you get, the better your friendship space will also look like. And don't take friendships for granted. Pray about it.
Oh, yes.
Demons also wear makeup and eyelashes and
And they have very pretty lipstick.
yeah, and they have beautiful
They have the
accents
best
and
shades
they
of
look
lipstick.
fly. Yeah,
Yes.
so really, really, really pray about it. Pray for yourself, pray for others, because in the end, God can really navigate you towards the right friendships.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much again, everyone. Thank you for having watched. If you haven't yet subscribed, please make sure to do so. Share this because we all navigate this thing called friendship and we can learn a thing or two. And please remember to engage in the comments as well. And let's see if we can come back with a different angle to the same topic. Thanks again and take care. We'll catch you on the next one. Nalu, lots of love. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Thank you so much, Aggie.